What is up, everybody? My name is Whooped. I'm excited to be back with another episode of Film Study. So Mountie is playing as Blue, and he chose Fortified Specialist with Crawlers and Sledgehammers. His opponent, who's named Blue, is playing as Red, and he's a Marksman Specialist. Cyanide, Dr. Dumb, Snot Panda, and everyone else who submitted replays, I apologize for not getting to them. I did look at them all, and I appreciate you sending them to me. Mountie, who's the person in this video, actually sent a couple replays to me previously that I wasn't able to get to. A lot of the times it's just because small updates come out and the replays expire. But I ended up running into Mountie in a Twitch chat, and we got to talking about some of the problems he's been facing. And he feels like he's been hitting a plateau at around 1100 or 1050. And in particular, he says he's having problems closing out games that he feels like he should be winning. And so I was like, hey man, send me a couple replays, I'll take a look at them tonight. And so that's what we're doing right now. If you're new to the channel, I organize my videos by color coding them into 3 categories. You can find all of my playlists listed in the description in case you're interested. So you opted for the 3 Fangs, which I think is a decent move. You know, maybe you didn't want to go Mustangs into Sledges and Arclights. I respect that. And you went for the 3 Fangs. You know, it's a lot of deployments for free. So that's a good move, I think. You have a couple behind your tower, which is fantastic. And this is just like a recommendation, but I know a lot of people will put one in the front so that it pulls them to it. Or they'll put like maybe 2 lanes, so they'll have 2 in the front so that it pulls them to those. Alright, so you're building out your board. You got chaff over here, chaff over there. I like that. So far it's looking pretty good. The only thing I would say is, you know, maybe consider pulling in units and the direction that you want. But aside from that, I think it's looking fine. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a tough comp to play into. Okay, so your opponent went extended range arclight. I'm guessing you're going to take laser sets. Efficient tech research is also one that you can consider because it is pretty early. Okay, so you gave it to your leveled sledgehammers. I think that's a good move. Alright, so you're continuing to build out your board. So for round 3, I would say, you know, it's perfectly fine to continue to build out your board. Ooh, nice sentry missile. But I was saying in round 3, it's perfectly fine to build out your board. Just start thinking about, you know, what you want to do, because you know your opponent's already. He already has a lot of arclights. He's already ticked into him. He has marksman. You kind of see the direction he's going, and so you got to start planning how you're going to go against that. Efficient giant manufacturing. Okay, I think that's a good choice. All right, so if you're going to take efficient giant manufacturing, then I'd want to see giants placed down this round. Okay, so you unlocked the fortress. And you threw down marksman. Okay. You got level 1 and 2 upgrades. I think you should have put down a fortress. So you had 700, right? So what you could have done is purchase field recovery, sold your blue sledges, right? Drop down 2 fortresses, unlock the fortress, drop down 2 of them, and give one of them laser sights. And then you would have had 2 fortresses right now. And the most important thing on that is you'd start the process of getting your XP, you'd have your DPS down, you'd have the direction that you're going. Alright, so you took 500 damage. I'm going to play round 4, and I'm going to show you maybe the difference. Alright, so we'll take efficient giant manufacturing just like you did. We'll unlock the fortress just like you did. The difference is I'm going to buy field recovery. I'm going to sell the blue sledges. I'm going to drop down 2 fortresses, and I'm going to give one of them laser sights. I'll put them somewhere over here and let it rip. Now our hope is that this one gets a level. So I mean, it would be great if this one did too, but this one has laser sights, so we really want this one to level up. It'd be awesome if both leveled up. He does have a lot of blue units, so, you know, there's a lot of XP to go around. So he's 75% there. Ooh, yeah, this one's not gonna level up. He might die, actually. Okay, not bad. Yeah, so you went from losing by 500 to winning the round by over 500. So going into the next round, you'd have a fortress with the level. So you'd have level 2 fortress with laser sights. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, no way, he leveled up as well. You'd have 2 level 2 fortress going in to round 5. There's 0 chance he can combat that. Absolutely none. That's crazy. Both of them leveled. Wow. Well, there you see. There's the difference. All right, we're back in round 5. All right, so if you're shielding right now due to the fact that he might get smoke bomb for you, this one's placed okay. It can go, you know, maybe a tiny bit higher if you wanted to, but this one's fine. But this one needs to be moved over. So it needs to be moved over right so that it's covering your blue, but it also needs to be moved up so that it's covering this area. Because when he smokes you, he's going to smoke where you're going to walk into, right? It's not going to be on the line. I mean, maybe it will, but it shouldn't be. Because, you know, your guys are right here. They're walking up. And so make sure when you're doing the shields, it's, you know, covering the front. This one's just a little too far over and back. Okay, so I think one of the problems that I noticed right now, and it sucks that your guy dropped down fortresses, by the way, because you could have had 2 level 2s right now, and he would have been so far behind. But your sledgehammers are asked to be your DPS, your frontliners, and your shaft clear. And that's just a lot for them to handle. So they're going to get experience, but at the same time, they have a tremendous amount of responsibility in carrying you through the game. Oh, also I'd say smoke further down, because you want to smoke where they're going to walk into, not where they like currently are. Smoke where they're going to be. Okay. Orbital is not a bad choice, right? Orbital is a pretty good choice. You get a lot of value from it. But in this particular case, you might want to consider taking Amplifying Core. Now okay, so now you're dropping the Fortress. See, this is backwards. Those should have been dropped the last round. And if you wanted to put levels into your sledgehammers, then that should have happened this round, because they would have at least leveled up. So now you would have, again, 2 level 2 fortresses. But now you're just kind of far behind, you know? But anyway, Orbital's good, but imagine if you would have had laser sights on this one and Amplifying Core on that one, and they might even be level 3 fortresses right now, you know, if you would have dropped them in round 4. But giving your other sledges amplifying core. If sledgehammers are going to be your carry, might be a way to go. Or you can give laser sights and amplifying core to your fortresses. But I mean, orbital is not bad. It's still good. The other thing I'll say about this round is, in round 4 you unlocked the fortress, right? But you didn't place one down. So that put you in a supply deficit. And right now, since your opponent did fortresses last round, in round 5, you are right now at an XP disadvantage, an item disadvantage on the fortresses. You're at a quantity disadvantage because he has more of them. I think you have a couple different options. You can go Fire Badger and lay down some oil. You can go Sabretooth and sell it. You can go Sabretooth and keep it. Alright, so you want Sabretooth. Okay, so let me stop it right here. This right here is not the best positioning because he's kind of leading the charge and you don't want him to do that. Because right now he has 40,000 damage per shot. And so you definitely don't want him to be the first to die. You know what I mean? Like, think of him as the president. You want to protect the president at all costs. So he needs his own, like, escort of security fangs, you know, here and a shield and range. Like, he needs the whole 9 yards because right now you're essentially saying, hey, this is going to be my carry. And if you want him to do work, you're going to have to invest in him. You know what I mean? But you definitely don't want to have him in the front like this. Even if he was just a little bit further back and you added, you know, a little bit more chaff, that would be better. The other thing I'll say to that is another option I would consider is getting the Fire Badgers. And so you have 2 Fire Badgers, right? You sell one this round for 400. Okay. And then you drop oil in the middle, like right here, where all his crawlers are going to run into. You place your own crawler right here and tell it to go backwards so that you draw all of these in. And then you put your other Fire Badger right here so that he turns this whole thing to a blaze. And then you just melted all of his chaff, right? So not only did you get the 400 from the first, but you also absolutely annihilated him this round because he has no chaff. And his Mustangs will die too because they don't have range. And then next round, you can sell the other Fire Badger for another 400, but it gives you a lot of flexibility. It gives you a good economy. So you're continuing to invest in the sledges. I think in this case, Elite Marksman would be really good. Okay, so you're going for the cheeky play. Alright, here's the thing though. I don't think your foundation is strong enough to take his on. You know, he has a much greater foundation than you, core v core. And so I understand going for the cheeky play. You're trying to create your own opportunities. I respect it. It's creative. But I think that money and deployment should have been invested more into like your foundation. Or if you were going to go for a cheeky play, maybe you don't commit all 3 of your deployments on it. So you do get his tower, so it did work. The other thing I'll say about that is use mobile beacon. So you tell it to go to the tower. Because sometimes they'll just end up chasing the enemy. And then another thing you can do is tell it to go to the tower and then tell it to go to this tower afterwards. Alright, so even though you took out his tower early, you still lost the round. Which is not good. Not good at all. I think you had a couple different options as far as like what you could have done. And so I'm going to take it over and I'm going to show you what would have happened if you went like the Fire Badger route. Alright, you get Fire Badgers. You're like, hey, this is cool. I'm going to sell one. Boom. Just boosted your economy, right? You're going to borrow and pay the range tax, and you're going to buy oil. Okay. Now, expect him to get barrier. Doesn't mean he's going to get it, but just kind of respect it, if you will. So you want to put the oil a little bit further up. Also, he has crawlers, so you know his crawlers are going to run into it anyway. All right, so you got the oil there. You go ahead and put the Fire Badgers here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put them here. Alright, we'll get crawlers like this. And then we'll get the mobile beacon and we'll tell them to run backwards. Like that. Okay. And then from here, let's go ahead and promote this gentleman. Should we get barrier? I'm gonna get barrier too. Why not? Let's drop another down. Why not? Let's do it. We got the money. Okay. And let's go ahead and get your marksman leveled up. And we can even promote your sledgehammer. Why not? At the next round, you would sell this fire badger for another 400. Alright, so oil is dropped. It is now ablazed. And you just won the round, no problem. Because he has no chaff and you do. And you still have shields. Which is actually really good because you just seen that he came out with acid. And not only did he come out with acid, but you won the round. And that's very good knowledge to have. Oh man, you did almost 2,300 damage to him. Holy. You know, getting oil on the ground, igniting it, selling your badgers, boosting your economy. You know, getting barrier on your fortress. Alright, we're back in round 8. Alright, so you took advanced targeting system. Oh no, and he took assault. He took assault fortress. Okay. Alright, let's look at this real quick, alright? This is very important, okay? He has sledges, you have sledges. He has fortress, you have fortress. He has a bunch of marksmen, you have a bunch of marksmen. You guys are in a bit of a mirror, right? And when it comes to mirrors, range is fantastic. You want range. So by you taking the advanced targeting system card, that is absolutely a great choice in my opinion. I think you did a phenomenal job choosing that card. And the other thing I'll say to that is your opponent picked Assault Fortress, which is a good card, except it also decreases his fortress's range by 10. So you increased your range on everybody by 10, and he decreased the range on his fortresses by 10, which is kind of funny. And this is especially true because he hasn't been paying the range tax, and I believe you have been paying the range tax. So I'd say absolutely a job well done on that one. Okay, you got Stormcallers with EMP. If you would have leveled up these wasps, you win this easy. You win this absolutely easy if you level up the wasps to level 2. Oh man, look at that. He already has 80,000. Holy. Okay. Not bad. Before the round ends, I just want to point out your saber last round had 3,000 damage, and your saber this round had 85,000 damage. And the difference that you did is that you took range. That's the difference. Like, that's crazy. Nice. Now I'm going to take over 8. I'm going to make these level 2 just to kind of show you like what would have happened. All right. Let's promote them. I don't think you got barrier, but I'm going to get barrier just because I like it. Definitely have to borrow and pay the range tax. And then I'm going to pretend like you don't have oil, but if you didn't use oil up to this point, you absolutely apply it right now. You know where they're going to walk into. But let's go ahead and protect Mr. President with some chaff. Because we do not want him dying at all. Heck, we can even give him double shot if we want. Let's go ahead and give him double shot. Normally we'd want to give him range, but we didn't have it right now. And since I only get one round to play, I'm just going to give him double shot. All right, let's try this. All right. Oh, dang. He took him out fast. Yeah, see the difference between 1s and 2s? It's crazy. Yeah, and you didn't know how he was guarding it, right? But it's not that big of a commitment to go into levels because you can always sell levels and get your money back. So basically, you're just wasting the 50 for jump drive that you already spent anyway. Yeah. GG's. Did another couple thousand to him. The game would have been over, definitely, you know. And just imagine if you would have threw down the fortresses in round 4. I think the game would have been over in round 6, probably. But anyway, let's go back to round 9. A lot of good options. The level 7 Rhino, though, dang. Okay, so you took the Wraith. And I'm thinking you took the Wraith for Chaff Clear. Like, he doesn't have a lot of anti-air. You could assume he's going to go Farseer because of the Wasps. Or you think he's going to go Rhino, but he probably won't go Wraith. Not against all these marksmen. Alright, so good job moving your Wasps out of there. I think you either level them up or you get rid of them. So you can use them as chaff, though. So if you don't want to level them up, you know, you could put them back here as chaff, just so they're kind of distracting the marksman. You can even put them on a delay, so you can get the mobile beacon, tell them to go this way, and then tell them to turn back around to go this way. And then when they're done with that, then they'll move forward. And by that point, you know, a lot of his Mustangs will be dead, and they won't be able to kill your Wasps. You know, it'll only be the marksman left. And so right here, just assume they have barrier. If you're going to go against someone with fortress, they have barrier tech. Most times they're going to choose barrier, right? I mean, they might go into range first, whatever, but probably choosing barrier. Just respect it. Put the smoke cloud here, where they're going to walk into. You dropped it at the very, very last second. Nice. Alright, you paid the range tax. You still need to use rapid resupply this late. It's round 9. Absolutely need to use that. Your opponent did not pay the range tax, so you're continuing to have 25 range that he does not. Which is insane. That is absolutely insane, especially in this much of a mirror. Especially if you didn't take the -10 on his fortress. The problem, though, is that he has these pesky scorpions applying a lot of acid. Heck yeah. Yeah, you gave Saber heavy. Okay. He has almost 200,000. Oh, you gotta level him up and get him past this point. But he has almost 200,000 HP. That's crazy. Oh, you got big fortress now, level 3s. That's fantastic. 180,000 HP each. They got the strong barrier. Your Sabertooth too is gonna chew through these shields. If you had double shot on your Saber, it would basically one-shot these shields. Oh man, he had 1,600 damage. Not 16,000 or 160,000. He had 1,600 damage. That's crazy. That is tragic. Yeah, there's just way too many scorpions right now. That's very unfortunate. Man, he had 1,600 damage. Like, this cannot happen for a level 6 Sabertooth with heavy armor. Oh man, that is so unfortunate. And that's, you know, it kind of goes to show you, like earlier I was talking about, you got to protect him. You know, he needs chaff all around him. He could have shields. You can even put a fortress right here with the barrier. Like, just protect the Saber as much as you can, but also he needs range. Basically, you have two options: invest in them or sell them, because 1,600 is just not, you know, not going to cut it, of course. But overall, I think he just has way too much beef for your comp to handle. I think the advantage you have is air. So you do have like a pretty solid foundation of air. I'm going to take over round 10 and I'm going to go into air because I think that's the only way you win this is through the air. I just don't see a ground composition that you could do right now to win the game. So let me take over round 10. I'll do heavy armor as well. Heck, I'll even do the same thing. I'm gonna give him range though, and I'm gonna give him a friend, a guardian friend. All right. So for your wasp though, I'm gonna upgrade them. Okay. I'm gonna borrow and pay the range tax and get speed. All right. I'm gonna get range enhancement. I'm gonna drop another. Actually, I'll drop a couple. We get mobile beacon. We have to sell these crawlers up here, so I'm gonna sell these guys because we do not want these pulling this way. We do not want that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell the crawler, or excuse me, the wasps, to make a cheeky play on the tower. All right, and then I'm gonna pretend like we do not have oil. Otherwise, I would absolutely put oil down. So I'm just gonna upgrade your stuff and things. All right. Okay, the wasps are shooting at a shield, which is good. They helped broke it. Ooh, killing the arc light's good. Distract. Oh, they got the tower. All right, that's big. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is fantastic. Oh, the scorpions are still a pain in the ass though. But I think you got it. Yeah, you got it. Is that enough for killing blow? 2400? All right, let's go back to round 10. Yeah, overall, I think there's a couple different ways you could have played this last round, air-wise. So let's say we get improved this time, and we're like, you know what? This saber is just not working out for us. Then we can sell it, which means we're not going to be able to get rid of the crawlers, but that's fine because we're pulling the Mustangs. Let's assume they're level 2. It's okay. You know, we have a lot of wasps, so let's go ahead and get range on these bad boys. Let's bring them over here. We're gonna borrow, pay the range tax. Let's go ahead and drop some oil, because why not? Remember, we're respecting the shields. He will walk a little into the oil, it's fine. Alright, we're gonna get elite wasps. Okay. We can even get ground spec if we want to. Let's go ahead and promote the fortresses. And alright, so my hope I guess we'll just promote these guys. My hope is that by the time these guys hit the tower, these group of wasps will also kind of like hit the side. The first group is going to have to deal with the Mustangs. Yeah, so this is what we want. We kind of want like a multi-pronged attack, I guess, if you will. Oh yeah, we should absolutely have the tower. Oh yeah. Man, these scorpions are doing so much work though, it's crazy. Okay, maybe not as effective as the other way actually. Okay, this one only did like 17.5. So not as effective as the other one. All right, I'm gonna go back to your board and then I'll do a recap. Oh, and by the way, you could do the same thing if you chose the Rhino as well. Let's say you didn't want to use, wasps to go because you're afraid of a sentry missile or something. You can always send one wasp to clear out the sentry missile and a Rhino right behind it. And it accomplishes the same thing. It'll do the same thing. Overall, I think you did a lot of things right. You built out your board. You made a play on his tower. You recognized the sentry missile, so you put the crawlers in front. You have a couple really strong fortresses going. You got a lot of levels into your marksman. You layered your chaff decently well with the crawlers, the fangs behind, the fangs in front, the crawlers in the middle, the fangs in the back. These, of course, need to be split, and there should be one right here as well. But overall, I think it's a pretty good job. I think where it went wrong, things started to get a little bit shaky in round 4. When you took a efficient giant manufacturing, but you didn't end up placing a giant. So that was just like, a little shaky. You only have 2 giants through 10 rounds. And so efficient giant manufacturing just was not worth it. And then, of course, it didn't help that you unlocked the fortress with 200 supplies, but didn't actually throw one down in 4 or 5. But in round 5, it started going off the rails. Like the game started going a little bit off course for you. Like here's the road and you kind of went this way a little bit. And it's because you decided to go into you decided to level and tech your sledgehammers. Now, that's not a problem in and of itself if that was your plan, but you went efficient giant manufacturing and you unlocked the fortress. So clearly fortresses were your plan, right? That was your plan. But let's say you don't do it in 4, you must do it in 5. So there are a few things that you could have done in the earlier rounds that affect how the board sets up in the later rounds. And the funny thing is, you actually were still doing pretty good. You were still right there with your opponent, if not maybe even ahead at times. And then in round 7, I think you missed an opportunity to deal a significant amount of damage to your opponent. And I really like the fact that you're trying to create your own opportunities and make a play, but the timing I don't think is there. You have the skill and you have the creativity. I think we just need to work on the timing a little bit. And then of course, don't lead the charge. Don't lead the charge with your best unit. That's just criminal that he only had 1600 damage. If that's your carry, you do what you got to do to keep him alive. If you don't want to invest in it, just sell him. I think you did a really, really good job recognizing the significance that a plus 10 range would have, even though it's, seemingly expensive at 400. You're like, hey, this is absolutely worth it. And I think that is a fantastic choice, especially in a mirror match. And your opponent not doing that was a major blunder. But yeah, in round 10, gosh, it's just so much to do with, So that's why I think you needed to switch to air. Just based on your board right now, I don't think you have enough to deal with that. And so I think air was definitely the way to go. And you kind of recognize that too. Like you have a decent amount of air right here that I think making the switch would have been viable. Like as you saw, I did. I not only won by, getting that cheeky flank, but also by kind of attacking them with air and the cheeky flank. All right, so going forward, what I want you to work on is prioritizing chaff clear more. And then the other thing is commit to a plan earlier. So have a plan, commit to that plan. Another thing I would say to work on is protecting your DPS. Another thing that I would say is utilize oil from the tower by oil bomb. That will win you so many games. And then the last thing I'll say is to sell out of units that are not helping, or they're helping, but the benefit that they give you is less than the supply value that could be used towards something else that would help you more. I hope this helped, man. Thank you so much for submitting it. Let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions, obviously feel free to ask and I'll do my best to answer them. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing. I'm Whooped. Thanks for watching.
This is Mechabellum, and it's going down. Whooped, got it popping, round after round.